Okay, folks, welcome to a brief analysis of the futures action that I have been watching for the past little while. So let me get this link out to a couple of our members. I'm going to let people populate in here, and I'll share with you what we're seeing in the futures action this evening that should have everyone focused. Okay, I got the link. Let me just share this out really quick. Okay, there we go. All right. So I titled this commentary, The Yen Carry Trade is Alive and Well, and Why It's a Threat to the Stock Market. Now, brief overview of what the yen carry trade is. Well, it's the exact reason why you saw a sell-off in the equity markets, not this past Monday, not the prior Monday, but the Monday before. And you saw this trade where you borrow in yen because the yen has been at zero, negative rates, negative yield for over 10 years. But that's changing now. So what people were doing was they were borrowing in yen and buying US bonds, US stocks, European bonds. Basically, they were borrowing cheap, zero interest, and then investing it and making a lot of money. So that trade has been going on. God, it's got to be 15 years minimum. And we were supposed to believe, the media elite had us want to believe that this trade was over. Don't look here anymore. Don't look at the Japanese yen anymore. It's done going up. Don't worry about the yen carry trade. That's become unwound in 24 hours. Give me a break. So I've been looking at the market for the past several days, scratching my head. I just don't get it. I mean, I'm going to go to a chart here briefly, and then we're going to talk more about what I'm observing on the futures market. And we'll bring up the triple Qs because what we're seeing here is just really incredible price action. Here's the weekly chart, but overlaid in dashed line on this weekly chart. We're using TrendSpider software, link below, discount. We have monthly resistance. We have cut through and have closed above one monthly resistance level. Now we are above another one, 4 trading days left to go. And we've cut through these resistance levels like a hot knife through butter. Now, the question is why? Are equities cheap? No, they're not cheap. Not at all. Is it the Federal Reserve and the promise of a rate cut? Maybe. Maybe that's what it is. But we don't know. We don't know yet. All we know is that the market has done nothing, or the Qs anyway, have gone up over 13% in the past 3 weeks from the lows. Why? Why would it do that? What caused the sell-off to begin with? We were getting rate cuts. As a matter of fact, back then, we were going to get a half basis point rate cut. Now we're only going to get a quarter basis point rate cut. Why now? Why now are we ratcheting up? Let's take a look. So here is the Australian dollar. Bear with me. I know it sounds crazy. Let me maximize my screen so you could see. Here is the Aussie dollar relative to the Japanese yen. It's a ratio chart. So basically, this is a proxy. It is a measure of the strength of the Aussie dollar relative to the yen and vice versa. In this case here, the Aussie dollar has been rallying relative to the yen. Now, overlaid here, and you can see that's been a strong trade for quite a while now. Now, overlaid in black I have the S&P 500. Up here, I have the correlation in gray to this trade, the Aussie dollar versus Japanese yen, to the S&P 500. You could see that on a daily chart, they're at current not as correlated as they used to be, because this is a weekly chart. But by and large, you go to a monthly chart, they've been of late 75% correlated. Now going back to the daily chart, you're killing me here. This is why I use TrendSpider. You could see that since the lows of August the 5th, what were the lows on August the 5th? That was the low for the equity market. That's the big sell-off. The Aussie Japanese yen trade has been nothing but a rip-roaring rally. Okay. Let's talk about what's going on at current. Here is the Aussie Japanese yen dollar trade. Aussie dollar is now rallying off its lows. And you can see here that while we were selling off here very, very hard, the NASDAQ 100, the MNQ, was holding support. And I'm sitting here wondering, why isn't it moving? Why isn't it moving? It's not going up. It's not going down. It's just doing nothing. It's like the needle is pinned and it can't move. And then I started searching around for the answer, and I came up with the Aussie Japanese yen trade, the yen carry trade. And sure enough, as the yen carry trade, the Aussie dollar trade comes undone, it's now beginning to rally. Aussie dollar is beginning to rally versus the Japanese yen. You could see the NASDAQ is beginning to rally up higher again. So anybody out there telling you that this yen carry trade, it's done, don't worry about it. Don't look here anymore. The charts are telling you right here, right now, that there's nothing further from the truth. That you had better be watching this, because as goes the Japanese yen versus the Aussie dollar versus the US dollar, so goes the rest of the equity market. Watch this. These are both 5-minute charts. They trade exactly in tandem. A little bit of topping tail, a little bit of topping tail. We began to rally. We began to rally here. Aussie dollar, Japanese yen trade at the bottom, NASDAQ on top. Let's take a look at what the Japanese yen is doing as a sole currency. And you can see that it has been rallying in the Asian market open. And now we're selling off a bit here because it appears as though they're stepping in to control this thing. Because if this thing comes undone and we begin to break down to new lower lows on the Aussie Japanese yen trade here, you're probably going to see bright red futures here in the United States in the morning. And they can't have that with the presidential election coming up here, and of course Jackson Hole. So again, coming back, focus on these currency trades here, because it's very, very important. Those traders over in Japan, borrowing in yen, buying U.S. bonds, U.S. equities, they have been help supporting our lower interest rates and our stock market for quite some time. Who's going to step in to replace them? So watch out for this. I wanted to get this out there because the correlation is clear. It's defined. AUD/JPY if you're using Thinkorswim. And watch the correlation. If this thing begins to fall apart here, yet again, watch out below for the U.S. equity markets. And that's it, folks. I'm going to bed. I'll wake up at 4 o'clock. I'll be back here again. Let's check in with comments before I check out. Talon, Sam, Donnie. What do we got here? Where's Sam's comment? Oh, more yen carry trade. It's supposed to be all over and done with. It's supposed to be all over and done with. Nothing could be further than the truth. The markets are telling us that. Market want to be. Okay. Ms. want to be. All right. All right, folks. For those that are out there and you're not on our email list yet for our new trading community coming up here, there's a link below, launching August the 30th. These live streams will be going live in that forum. If you're interested, link below. And member stock chart requests will be hosted in that private live stream. You will not be asked for a credit card. It's free of charge for now, until such time as we get a lot of members, and then we're going to start charging a couple of bucks to keep the lights on. With that, folks, have an awesome night. Thanks for being here.